Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Hussein. In this video, if you bear with me and stay with me, I am going to show you how you can literally transform your life uh, with one decision, certainly, and frankly, in one instant. Like, it's unbelievable stuff, and I'm praying and hoping that you bear with my long, rambling approach. This is totally unprepared, and it's a spur of the moment thing. I just visited the Toronto Public Library here and picked up a copy of this book, which is basically the central focus of this discussion. This book changed my life, and it contains a central key concept, which, if you're a seeker of like self-improvement and self-help and a studier of motivational theory and things of this nature, this book has the real secret, and I'm going to discuss this in quite some detail. So I appreciate likes and comments. If you want to subscribe, that would be great. This is a new channel, and here we go. So I'm coming to you from the beautiful St. James Park here in the heart of downtown Toronto. You might be able to see the spire of the cathedral, St. James Cathedral, and it's another beautiful September day. Fall is just around the corner, kids playing in the park, this kind of thing. Perfect opportunity to talk about well-being, happiness, and good things like this. So I recently got out of jail. I was in jail for 18 months. And during that 18 months, I had a chance to internalize the book, the teachings in this book. And I'll come back to this shortly. I just want to kind of give you some context, okay? I have been studying self-help theory, like a lot of you guys, my whole life. When I was 14, I picked up How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Right? And then of course you go through all of the classic self-help books. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by James Murphy. The Power of Thinking Big by Norman Vincent Peale. And then of course The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Believing, The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Not to mention any and every kind of self-help spiritual how-to book I can get my hands on. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, The Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, The Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, Chinese classic text on spirituality and whatnot. And over the years, I've basically studied and analyzed self-help to a great degree. I come from a sales background, selling software to and for Fortune 500 type companies. I worked for Oracle Corporation, CompuWare, Computer Associates, a bunch of award-winning startups over the course of a decade plus career. Right now I'm a digital marketer. I help people with sales and marketing stuff, online, offline, this kind of thing, as well as these random videos sharing my thoughts with the world at large. So now in my study of self-help, the real question that comes up is, every single self-help book will ask you the question, or will actually promise you to change, like to transform you. Like, oh, we've helped millions of people live fuller lives. We've helped millions of people reach their full potential. This book has changed the lives of hundreds and thousands and all these kinds of things. And my whole thing is, it didn't really do much for me, right? I can and will talk more or less incessantly about all of the principles, the foundational principles of self-help. I want to go over some of those here, but the question is, it really didn't change me. I didn't become the person I was hoping to be and my ideal self, these kinds of things, and nor did I achieve any kind of success or outward manifestations of progress or anything. I basically ended up with a bunch of information, and moreover, I haven't met anyone who has actually read a self-help book or gone through a self-help program and changed their life, literally. So the question is like, why? And why is it that we get all this information, okay, about your self-image, about your subconscious mind, about manifestation and the law of attraction, about self-affirmations, about visualization, right? These are basically the salient foundational points that make up the science of self-help as far as that goes. And it's like you're standing there looking in the mirror saying, I'm the best, I'm great, I'm successful, I'm confident, I'm a great sales guy, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Or you're trying to visualize your ideal future, or things like this. Or you got a poster of a Lamborghini, or like some mansion, right? Or like a beach with a couple of chairs on the beach, and this is your dream life, and you're meant to be able to manifest it just by thinking about it, right? And then you're meditating, you're trying to think positive thoughts, right? So none of these things work. As far as positive mental attitude, PMA, is concerned, it's easy to say that your attitude creates your altitude, or whatever that is, right? If you can maintain a positive attitude and think positive thoughts, then you're going to be fine, right? And everything's going to turn out great. My whole thing is, if you're not feeling it, if you're like feeling down, if you're feeling sad, if you're in the wrong mood, then your thoughts don't matter. You can't think positive thoughts if you're not in the right mood, right? And the real thing is how to create that mood. That's really the real thing. How can you go from being sad to happy? How can you go from being depressed to a sense of well-being? Or you're visualizing, right? You're visualizing all kinds of things. So there's two kinds of people. Like myself, there's the kind of person who has difficulty visualizing an ideal future. Like, in a sense, I know what I want, but in a sense, is that what I really want? These kinds of things. And this is a question I've struggled with forever. I try to visualize myself driving my ideal car, right? And, for years I drove a nice car, and we went on vacations, and I lived in a nice place, and all these kinds of things. And then more recently, of course, I was in jail, and I'm basically starting from scratch again. But is your ideal future a certain house? Like, I'd like to buy a condo here on the lakeshore, here in Toronto. But I find that it's not something I can visualize on a day-to-day basis. I mean, the truth is, I'm getting there. And thanks to One Decision, this book, and the precept and the so-called secret that I'm going to share with you here. So self-affirmations, you're standing there in front of a mirror saying, I'm confident, right? I'm attracting like opportunities, and girls are gravitating towards me, and I'm selling and beating my quota. A lot of the time, unfortunately, you're lying, and your body and your brain and your mind and your being is allergic to lies. You're standing there saying stuff that is not true. Like speaking positive, this is one thing. To speak positive, I'm a big believer in this. You should not even mention the negative. You should not even say, well, listen, I hope this date doesn't go south. I hope I don't meet another a-hole. Or I hope my boss doesn't cancel this project. Rather, just talk about good outcomes. This is the epitome of positive speaking. You don't say, like in my case, oh shit, I hope I don't get in trouble with my probation officer and go back to jail. Rather, you say, I hope I stay free and positive and happy and successful and things of this nature. Positive speaking is one thing. Self-affirmations, for the most part, are a bunch of lies, right? And it's the same thing with visualization. Some people just have difficulty. I have for many years. It's getting better, and I believe it's based on what I'm going to be talking about with regards to this book. I know it's been almost 10 minutes. I appreciate you bearing with me. It is worth it once I get to it. I just want to get these other pieces out of the way. So you've got this other concept of self-image, right? If you have a good self-image, then everything else will follow. Like some people have a millionaire mindset. Some people expect the best, and life provides that to you. All these things are well and good. If you have a positive self-image, of course you're going to have great outcomes. If you have a positive mindset, of course you're going to have great outcomes. But the fact The fact is, and the frustration is getting to that point, getting to a point where you have a positive self-image and you feel great about yourself. Through the grace of God, I'm there, or getting there, or I've seen the mountain, so to speak, and I'm preaching this to you in the hope that I can break through this kind of morass of self-help stuff that people get fixated on without keying into the real issue. And I'm going to get to the real issue, just bear with me briefly. Manifestation and the law of attraction, same kind of thing. You put up a poster of your ideal vacation, your ideal car. You put up a poster of some ideal house, or the beach, or a cruise ship, right? Or a Ferrari Testarossa. And the whole thing is, unfortunately, for the most part, it reminds you of where you are in life and the fact that you don't have these things. This is a big problem. And it ties back into affirmations and generally thinking about success. A lot of the time, when you think about successful outcomes, you start feeling bad that you're not quite there. And so visualization, self-affirmations, the self-image. Self-image is a big thing, and I want to talk about this in future videos. The whole thing with self-image is, it's basically just a thought. If you are thinking about your self-image, then you get trapped in that thing. And if you're not, if you're just experiencing life, reading a book, flying a kite, watching a movie, doing some work, going for a walk on the beach with your significant other, you don't have this concept of self-image. As soon as you start entertaining this concept of self and self-image, you get trapped by it. That's what that is. In any case, the power of your subconscious mind. I mean, I literally have tried everything over the years with regards to achieving that breakthrough. Like just feeling good, feeling positive, unleashing the inner giant, like Tony Robbins says. Nothing has worked apart from this one book, one decision. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't even read the whole book. 2023 is when I was arrested. I spent all of 2024 in jail. 18 months was until this past July of 2025 when I was released. I don't want to talk about that in great detail. It wasn't anything violent or super serious. I was suffering from a mental health crisis. I have cannabis use disorder. When I smoke weed constantly and consistently, it triggers a bipolar reaction. I start acting out. I start getting into fights and acting crazy. In this case, I set fire to a jacket in the hallway of my wife's building. I was arguing with her or whatever. She tossed my jacket into the hallway. I lit it on fire and said, "See you later," and shut off. And I thought it would be fine. She'd put it out, like she'd throw some water on it, no big deal. It turned into this huge, nasty, smoky plastic fire with the neighbor running out with grabbing the fire extinguisher and smoke everywhere. My poor wife was treated for smoke inhalation. The Toronto Fire Department and the Toronto Police had to show up and whatnot. And I ended up in jail, and it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I had a wonderful time, and frankly, for the first time in over a decade, I overcame the depression, the anxiety, and the suicidal thoughts that I had been facing for more or less 10 years. I was diagnosed bipolar in 2011, and I started taking the bipolar medication lithium, right? And there's a reason that the late and great Kurt Cobain, rest in peace, of Nirvana fame, has a song called Lithium. It's a very powerful, mind-altering drug. It's actually lethal in large amounts, just like all medication, frankly, right? You got to wonder about the pills that you're taking, wherein if you take a handful of them, they will kill you. They are toxic, right? And so how many people, again, it's same question, how many people get their lives fixed, have their lives fixed, go through a transformation and recover and all these things by virtue of a self-help book or course or program? And the same question with regards to the medication. How many people take psychotropic pills and psychiatric medication and actually are happier and more successful and achieve more positive outcomes? There are a group and subset of people in certain situations that require medication. This talk is not about medication. We're reaching the 15-minute mark. I've dispensed more or less with all of these basic building blocks of self-help. That's what they are, all of them. The self-affirmations, the positive mental attitude, okay, the visualization, power of your subconscious mind, okay, there's the law of attraction, right? And then self-esteem. These are basically the building blocks of positive self-image. I mean, the real thing is just stay productive. This is the real thing. Just keep at it. This should be the real key to this whole thing. Instead of obsessing over all of these different things, they just turn into these big ideas and concepts that we get attached to that drag us down. So now, what is the big secret that Mike Bayer talks about in his book? What is this one decision? I'll tell you what it is, and it's the key to everything. I appreciate, again, you listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback and things of this nature. The one decision is to be your best self. That's what that is. Okay, so his previous New York Times best-selling book, just like this one is, his previous New York Times best-selling book was called Your Best Self, something like this. I haven't read that. I will one day. This book I mentioned I haven't read. I am going to read it. In fact, I will probably listen to the audiobook version online. And let me just say on a side note, I hope that you are a bibliophile like myself, basically a book lover. What you need to do, if you live in North America at least, I'm not sure about Europe and other parts of the world, you get a library card, Toronto Public Library, okay, upside down of course. Then you can access like hundreds and thousands, it would appear, audiobooks for free online on your local library's catalog. You use an app called Libby, Lima, India, Bravo, Bravo, Yankee. Libby, like library, Libby. It's a wonderful app. Like, I've been searching forever for a nice audiobook subscription site. I used to use Scribd. Scribd spun off their audiobook business into something called Everand, and I used that for a month recently, and the catalog is just not the same. Like, I was scrimping and scrounging to find good audiobooks, right? So Libby is a great source of audiobooks. So I am going to listen to the audiobook of this and get through the whole book. The one decision, be your best self. It's easy to dismiss this as just another self-help cliche, right? So for example, for years and years and years, my conception was that I just needed to do my best, right? If I used to say to people, do good and you will experience good, something like this. Just do good. And the real thing is be good. And the real thing is be good from moment to moment. And the key to this thing is the following, that for the most part, the majority of people are living through and channeling an ego-based self. It's not their real self. Basically, you wake up and you have your day-to-day thoughts and compulsions and emotions, and you just get wrapped up into this thing, and you just follow this thing. And the emotions and thoughts of this ego-based identity, they feed on each other. The thoughts generate emotions. They're generally negative or stressful or depressing thoughts and things of this nature. Anxiety-ridden thoughts, like negative, like tending towards the negative side, critical of other people, things of this nature. And you don't take the time to observe what is going on. And if you understand this one point, the wisdom of the ages and what the self-help gurus and spiritual masters throughout the ages and all of the religions have been teaching is this one thing. You have a choice in this moment, in this present moment. You can either identify with your higher self, the best version of you is inside of you, right? Or you can identify with your day-to-day ego-based self. And the problem is this, and the conundrum, if you are identified with your ego-based thoughts, your negative thoughts and emotions, generating these negative lifestyle and behavior and actions, and this whole thing that is just one big vicious circle. If you get trapped into this thing, you don't even realize what's going on. But the reason you are not happy is because you are identified with this ego-based self. Okay? The reason that self-affirmations and visualization and positive mental attitude. None of this applies or works unless you start from a place of your best self. So Mike Bayer, in his book, he actually goes into some detail about this, right? And I'm excited to get into this book. I had, again, 18 months to basically think about and internalize this thing, and I want to say it changed my life, right? After taking lithium for many years, I really believe that this medication for bipolar is what caused the depression and then the anxiety and all these kinds of things, right? And after spending a year and a half behind bars, although there are no bars, there's no bars, like there's metal doors and glass windows and things, but no bars. But in any case, I had time to think about, internalize these things, and I actually had a wonderful time in jail. For the first time since I was a kid, I felt happy about myself, happy with who I was, these kinds of things, okay? I was thinking positive thoughts. I was literally radiating love and compassion and tolerance and well-being. People were literally gravitating towards me. I was running like a business out of my jail cell, like trading coffees for juice, for bread, for this and that, and fruit and food. And people would be coming into my jail cell all day long and talking to me about their case and their issues and their lawyer and their court dates and their problems, I guess, trading, all these kinds of things. And people used to call my jail cell a convenience store. It was amazing, right? So from a business perspective, I actually had the most successful time. From a personal well-being perspective, again, for the first time in over a decade, I was no longer depressed, no longer had anxiety issues, and this thing continues. And through the grace of God, I'm at a place where I'm very happy right now. After spending 18 months in jail, just being alive with the birds and the trees and the kids and the grass and the trees and the sky and this beautiful world, right? It's enough. Just being alive is enough, right? That's more of a spiritual approach. But of course, we're in this world, okay? We have all these opportunities, and you should max it out. You should take it to the max. So now, Coach Bayer, he really gets into this thing in this book. You can see this picture of Merlin. Merlin the wizard is his identification of his best self, right? He's got this conceptualization of what his best self is. And I'm going to tell you, all the problems in your life will be answered if you just simply try to maintain your best self. Just make sure that your best self is switched on. Even if you're going through a hard time, you just hunker down and you know what to do. You be patient, you be grateful, you again just channel your best self. You identify with your higher self. The problems will take care of themselves. Every other thing in life will take care of itself, no matter what you're going through. Again, here's his concept of his lower self, right? So he's got this demon kind of figure, diabolical figure, angelos or whatever. And I guess he mentions in the book, and it is the case, that you have your best self, and your goal is to identify with this best self, and it's within you. Like, if you go into Christian and Muslim and Judaic teachings, like I'm a Muslim, yo soy musulmano y mi esposa bonita es una cristiana. My wife of 20 years is a Christian. I'm a Muslim. And we believe, and it says in the Quran and the Bible, that essentially God breathed his spirit into you. Some of his spirit, something like this, he breathed that into you. So your ideal self actually is a godlike thing. It's like this amazing thing. It just transcends time, space, problems, materiality, all these kinds of things. If you're a Christian, and if you're religious, or if you're a Buddhist, or if you're Hindu, in religion, what you're meant to do is internalize an image of the Holy Spirit, or the Buddha inside of you, or Krishna inside of you, right? And in Islam, in the Quran, it's the same thing. Like, we take Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family as our ideal. And again, your sole decision or effort or focus should be whatever is going on, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. Am I channeling my best self? all of your depression and anxiety and negativity and bad emotions and negative emotions and anger and hate and jealousy and like judgment and all these things stem from your bad self. The reason and the problem is that we're identified with this ego-based thing that is not real. I urge you as well to pick up and read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I'm gonna say that that's it. I appreciate you watching if you've watched this whole thing. You can check out this book. You can check out like the audiobook if you get a library card and download the Libby app, or you can go to Google Books and you can preview this book, things of this nature. The concept is very simple though. There's really nothing to it. If you get it and it clicks, it will change everything. Like, and you can literally do this like this very moment. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling depressed, anxiety, all these things. Now, on the other hand, there is and there will be a residual mass of emotions and energy that is within you. If you've been identified with your lower self for a period of months and years, like most people, then that's why you feel heavy. That's why there's this low level anxiety and stress in the background of your mind and awareness. It's like this background white noise, right? This background low level anxiety. This stuff takes some time to get rid of. You need to meditate. You need to, again, fixate and identify with your best self, not create any more negative energy. Okay? Get out there, do things, stay productive. The worst thing to do is just get caught back up in this cycle of negative thinking, because then once again you become identified with a you that is not really you, like some negative or depressed or kind of like greedy or fearful or anxious or angry side of you, which is not real. All of those negative manifestations of yourself and the negative thoughts and emotions that they are creating and that you experience, they all boil down to being distracted from the one thing you should do. Whenever you have the awareness and the consciousness and the self-awareness and the presence, you should simply spend your time and energy fixating and focusing on your higher self, right? And you'll feel peace and you'll feel love and you'll feel well-being and you'll stop. I mean, I'm amazed. I'm going to tell you, I'm amazed at how much I've changed. I used to be self-absorbed. I used to be very cynical. I used to be very judgmental of others, right? When I look back at some of my old YouTube videos and pictures and I go into some of my memories of how I was over the years, I literally cringe. And I'm happy to report that nowadays, like, I took a page, of course, from my beautiful wife's book of Christianity, which is you pray for others. If you ever have a problem with others or difficulty with someone, or someone's giving you a bad vibe at work, or one of your friends or someone, an acquaintance is giving you a hard time, or even a stranger, the best thing you can do is pray about it or send this person good thoughts, like wish them well. Again, this is a manifestation of your higher self. And I'm going to say once again that if you understand what I've talked about in this video, and if you put it into practice, it will answer every other thing in your life. There's a very interesting and amazing saying of Imam Ali, who us Shia Muslims follow. He was the son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad, married to his daughter Fatima. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon them all, right? I'm not here to preach to you, but Imam Ali, I invite you to put the following term into ChatGPT or Google, sayings of Imam Ali, or research Imam Ali. Some of his sayings and speeches, they will blow your mind. So the saying is as follows, that whoever gets involved in anything other than self-improvement, essentially it's a downward spiral. It leads to your destruction. It leads to negative outcomes, things of this nature. Like, your sole focus should be on channeling, identifying with, and then channeling this best self. And then the journey of life is just getting more and more into this. Like, the whole thing is like, once you click into your higher self or your best self and channel it, you'll be happy and you won't need anything else. You'll have this great sense of well-being. So thank you. I'm going to finish this at 30 minutes. Look forward to touching base. Take care.